Let me tell you about my best friend. I'm just my crown when it's falling down. She intercedes for me, always loving me. There is no one better than my best friend.
You. It can be done.
Ooh,
it can.
Y'all lie.
Hi, everyone. Happy Sunday. Wait, I don't do welcomes. Go. I was about to.
Oh, y'all, welcome to the show. I put it down. My name is Sharice Nicole.
I am Coco Chantel.
And welcome to Bestest Tell All.
BTA. Happy Sunday.
Y'all, we got a lot popping today.
We do. Man.
Okay? We got a lot popping today. All right, we got question of the day. How you can catch us outside.
Catch us outside.
BTA favorites.
Mm-hmm.
And grief part 2.
Grief part 2.
Okay. Now, the last time she was on here, it was amazing. So we decided to bring her back again for part 2. So go ahead and tag your homegirls. Tag your homeboy, tell them to come in. You know somebody that may be struggling with grief.
Yes.
But I got a feeling this is going to be a spin on grief.
Indeed.
Not necessarily grief. But how y'all doing?
Hey, y'all.
All right. So I'll go ahead and put us up right there. I'm Sharice Nicole.
And, of course, I'm Coco Chantel.
And, of course, joining us today is Pastor Coach.
Pastor Coach. Pastor Coach. How y'all doing?
Pastor Coach. So, y'all, peep this out. Chantel, how was your week?
My week was good. I had a good week. I was off Monday, so I only had a 4-day week at work. I got a chance to spend time with my grandmother on Friday. And so she had an appointment on Friday. I had an appointment on Friday. And y'all, I went to Balance Therapy. For those who follow my personal page, I went to Balance Therapy, and I had to take a test, right? And I didn't do so well on the test, right? And so I wasn't upset about it. Like I really wasn't in a bad mood about it or anything like that, because I know that it's just the beginning of it, and so I am looking forward to passing in the future.
So tell them what's a balance test. Some people may not know what that is.
So for those who have like falls or suffer from falling and things of that nature, sometimes it could be a number of things, but usually it has something to do with your ears, your eyes, or your feet. Okay. Or your toes, I'll say. Your ears, your eyes, or your toes. So in a balance test, they have many different types of balance tests, but the one that I took, it put me in this contraption, right? They hooked me up almost like I was gonna go zip lining. They put the things between your legs. They kind of hooked you up on your shoulders, and what they do is they test to see what will make you fall, what your response is for a fall, how strong your ankles are. You learn about vibrations in your ankles that lead to your hips, which actually cause the fall. I'm learning a lot about the body as I go through this journey, right? And so during the balance test, they will shift the walls around you to see how stable you are. They will shift the floor under you to see your response time to like your feet to plant on the floor in enough time.
Anybody would fall without less.
So that was what she said. But here's the thing about the body, right? And I won't take a lot of time on this. What I'm learning is our body has a response time to everything, right? So if something is happening, like say the floor, you know how you've been to like those haunted houses and the floors shift from side to side, or you didn't fall because you plan, right? So even if it's all of a sudden, it's your response time that keeps you from hurting yourself.
Right.
I have a delayed response time due to my vestibular nerve damage in my ear. So my response time to something, when it could take someone 1 to 2 seconds, it takes me double.
Right.
So by the time my body realizes something is happening, I've fallen already. So there
And
was
y'all,
this,
it'd be a
there was
quick
this
fall.
instance. I'm gonna tell it real quick, and then we gonna ask up Sharice and Denise, Coach D, how her Pastor Coach D, how her week was. So there was this one time we went to this concert downtown where the landing used to be. Sharice and I and one of her cousins, and was that the time we saw Anthony then? Was that the same time? Okay, so it was like Anthony. It was like a bunch of people that were there. So we all ended up. Yes.
ABC, BBD.
And it was a great time. So we're walking, and I had on tennis shoes, guys. And usually, so if you see me in a pair of heels, I have never in my entire life fallen in a pair of heels. Never, ever.
She hit that flop though.
But my flats and my tennis shoes, I'm a goner. You understand? I am toast. And so we were walking, and we were coming back. The concert was over, and we were going back to the car. And I was walking, and then all of a sudden, I fell. Literally. Now, this was before the incident happened with me in November, but this was prior to that, and I fell. Yeah, I'm talking about busted up my shin and everything. I'm talking about bleeding and everything. Fell, right? Now, there was somebody recording me, so I have no idea where that video is, or if y'all seen it on YouTube, that was me, okay?
And y'all saw me on video
she's
telling
like,
her,
don't record her.
Yes.
Oh. So I fell, and I mean face first. So I fell on my stomach. Y'all, and it happened so fast. I laid there. I laid in the grass I had a chair on my back, the chair over my.
Oh no!
I laid there, and I was trying to comprehend what was happening and how I ended up here. So in my mind, I was like, I fell off the curb, and Sharice was like, there was no curb. And I was like, no, I like there was a curb. I stepped wrong. Like in my mind, I stepped wrong. But what I learned was that I had of course, later learning I had damage to my nerves in my ears, which causes me to be off balance, so I could fall at any point. So that was later what I learned from all those previous falls that I've had. So to sum it all up, guys, if you fall often, you find yourself tripping, stumbling, things of that nature,
get your ears checked.
Go get your ears checked.
Facts. Facts. Get your ears checked.
Please and thank you. So that was my week. How was yours?
Can I have your glasses?
And I said that.
I don't know. The other ones I do give away, but not these.
Not those.
I hadn't decided that I was going to give these away yet.
I like
Pastor Coach, do we working? Everybody stretch your hands this way. For those of you watch, stretch your hands this way. Okay.
You have to
let the Lord
pray
touch
for
us.
favor with man. That's what you have to do. You have to pray. That's your prayer. Falling short.
My Lord.
Listen, y'all. So my week. So this week I actually had a more difficult week than I had last week. So last week I had a week that felt regular, right? So we probably don't use the term normal, these days, especially after the pandemic. But I had a week this week that was, back into like a different type of rhythm. So I said, what is that and how do I process this feeling, this change?
Right.
I was more active this week probably than normal, so that probably had something to do with it. Like
working out?
No, with people.
Okay.
Right. So I'm more accustomed to being able to manage my social environment. And, just everything is usually well constructed by me. And we had a funeral till 10 this week. So all of these things probably going into my week and my feeling, especially this is the first funeral that I attended since the passing of my sister. So it was a different week, not difficult, but a different week. And so it was a week that helped me continue to process what grief looks like. Because I was telling someone yesterday that you don't know that there is better to have until you feel better, right? So I'll say, hey, I'm good, I'm fine. And then you find that there's a new level of being okay or fine. And so once I had that new level in the week prior, then I found, okay, here is a regular week.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Like a regular week of this, I do feel grief. Right.
Okay.
I do feel heavy and still not being able to pinpoint what exactly it is. So that was the thing that I was processing this week.
I like that though. That new level of feeling better. Another level of feeling better. I like that.
Yeah.
Well, y'all know my weeks. Y'all know how my weeks go. All right. Okay, we start off on Monday. Okay. And you would think Sister Girl would hear her alarm.
Oh no.
Okay, and get out the bed. Not out. At. AWT. You get out the bed 30 minutes before it is time to go to your ride, to go to school. Now listen, you go way to the other side of town. You have someone on this side of town that you carpool with. How you get mad at me when I say, hey, come on, hurry up. And you the one didn't wake up when your alarm went off. So I am practicing the hands-off mommy approach morning time routine. Because I'm normally the one that gets up, knock on the door, get up, Maddie, wake up, Maddie. Okay, go touch on your forehead, pray over you and all that right there. Okay, I'm trying the hands-off mommy approach. Okay, you have everything that you need. I've gotten you begged me from a Good News Bible. I gave you that, and I got all my private notes in there and everything that I done wrote to Jesus. Okay, I done gave you that. I gave you your own devotional Bible, okay, and devotional book. Okay, so you could get up and pray and lay hands on yourself. That's what I'm trying to teach you. I'm not gonna always be here. Right. Okay, but you don't get up. And I hear the alarm going off. My spirit was vexed because I didn't hear nothing moving in the house. And then I hear you say, Alexa,
snooze.
She snoozing.
And then you wake up razzle. You frazzled and razzled things. And so when I get up, I done made my coffee. Y'all know how I do. Made my coffee. I'm waiting on you. I got my keys in my hand. Baby, you running out the door with your shoes ain't on.
Oh, no.
You trying to do your edges in the car, smooth them around, honey, and all that you need to do. Then you get out the car with attitude. Honey, I don't care nothing about your attitude. So that was my Monday morning. I was grateful that the hurricane passed us over, but I was grateful there was no Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday morning with her. But honey, we come back around to Friday, baby, and it's the same thing. So I told her the next time you want to go somewhere, I'm gonna leave you when you're not ready. I'm gonna leave you when you're not ready, and then you don't want to catch the school bus because you're too cool. All right, but you're gonna catch that bus because you're gonna keep on trying me. So that. This week was about mommying.
Goodness.
Okay, and me taking my hands off Monday. I don't want to be a morning mama no more. I'm retired. I'm reclaiming my time. Knock on my door when you are ready to walk out the door, and it better not be when the ride is gone. Okay, that's where we are with that. So that was my week. If you can relate, can relate in the chat. Put can relate
shout out
in
to
the
mamas.
Shout out to
shout out to the mamas. How did y'all manage Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday?
She was in the van. The hurricane. Okay, and then now your body getting used to high school time. So then you up and laughing and carrying on. I say, well, ain't this something? You ain't got to go to school. You up. When you got to go to school, I'm tired. I'm weary. My body weary. Honey, where you got that from? Where you got your body weary from? That's why I said, where did you get that from? But that's what you say. Don't do what I do. Don't say what I say. Okay? My body is weary. You go to school and sit down all day. Honey, it was a lot of conversation, a lot of reinforcing or whatnot. But y'all don't prepare us for being teenage mothers. I mean, mothers of teenagers. Y'all don't tell us. Y'all do not. Y'all ain't no book, no handbook. No, these teenagers is a lot.
Sticking it to y'all.
What, baby?
The teenagers 1, the parents 0.
Oh, right.
0.
So that's where we are with that. All right. So we'll move on to our favorite thing. And who wanna go first?
I'll go first.
Are you gonna go first?
Yeah.
Hold on, y'all.
All right, everyone. So what you all are seeing is the blue moon from the other night. So I took this with my phone, and it was, of course, so bright, so it looks like it's the sun, but it's actually the moon. And so you can see how blue the sky is. The moon was actually a light blue that night, and you can see it illuminated blue around it. It was beautiful. Now I ain't gonna tell y'all, I was outside at 8:32. Okay, I was looking for the 8:32. I couldn't find it. I went back outside at 9:37, and I run through the house like Carl Lewis before I could get out there. I was like, I found it. Oh God, I found it. It was absolutely beautiful. So Sharice called me to tell me about it, and I actually set my alarm because it was something that I wanted to be able to experience, because I'm not really an outside person, right? I'm really not. But I wanted to see something God created, right? And something that we don't normally pay attention to, which is we don't really pay attention to the moon unless it's real close to the earth, y'all. Then y'all be scared. Wait a minute, what's going on? But I went outside. I literally stood in the middle of the street in my neighborhood and just watched it for about 10 minutes, like just really just taking in the view. And then of course I took this picture before going inside. But for those of you who did not get an opportunity to see it, they did post it on the internet, of course. So if you look it up, you should be able to see some of the pictures that astrologers and other people took using their telescopes.
Yeah, it was not. It was a nice view, y'all. Y'all had to see, and it only happens like 11 times in 100 years. So it's like a bucket list kind of thing. And they also have the pink moon, okay, and the red moon, and all those are.
I'm not interested in your red moons. I don't want to see that. No, nobody will be up for that.
For those of you all that are like sci-fi geeks like me, you gotta love stuff like that, because nobody creates this ball of gas. Jesus did. My philosophy. I'm not going to debate you. Okay, thank you.
Come on.
All right. And then we have, you want me to go next? You want to go last, Coach D?
I know.
You go, okay.
Yes.
Pass the coach going.
Okay, so you all, my favorite thing is here pictured. Look at you. Childhood memories. So this is the prayer tower of Philippian Community Church. And on Friday, Sharice has actually joined me here recently, maybe a month ago. But this is representative of my desire to pray often. And I'm going to tell y'all honestly, I'm not inclined to pray. I don't like prayer, if we honest. You understand? But what I have learned is that the more that I pray, the more I like the spaces that are created in prayer. And so I do in that way like praying because of the byproducts. And it allows me to just kind of silence myself. When I have a week like the week that I recently have, then it's more like asking, hey, what's going on? You know, what do you need me to see? What do you need me to know? And as, you know, Chantel might look at the moon, I try to look and see, Jesus, what are you showing me? What is beautiful about this thing? And not it's the darkness, it's the gloominess of, you know, dark situations. It's like, hey, something is illuminating here. And I need to be able to behold that thing. So this is just representing my love for prayer, and as you can see, it's empty. They let me be a pastor, but I kind of prefer just me, you understand? So I like those spaces where I can just kind of be silent, where I can be solo, because that helps me to focus, you all. Especially, it's not just the moment of prayer, it's when you come out, how like your focus is like HD. So that's my
like that lace
thing.
y'all put on y'all head.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Okay, here I am. That's my dog, y'all.
Oh my Lord.
She really put it up there.
That's my dog. So that's my favorite thing of the week. So story time. Madison won the dog. My house is not child conducive, pet conducive, no conducive, but to humans, and cleanliness is next to godliness in this house. Amen. Okay. So Madison won the dog. She has 3 dogs at her dad's house. She got 3 dogs, a bird, some fish. It's a zoo. Okay, very good. Okay, so one day we were in the car. I went to Home Goods, and the aesthetics of my home is like a gold field. So I saw the dog and I was like, Goldie. So then I got real excited. So I picked it up. I put it in the car. I had picked Madison up from track practice. I said, Madison, I got a dog. Oh my God, she was so excited, honey. She was jumping up and down. We got a dog. I said, yeah, it's a pug. He is so cute. I said, I'm gonna call him Goldie. So she said, okay. So we got home, and I brought the bag in the house, and she said, okay, where's the dog? I said, it's coming. I'm about to get it right now. And so I whipped out the dog out the bag. Honey, she smacked her teeth and walked off. This is the best dog you could ever have. Okay, you don't have to clean him. You don't have to walk him. You don't have to pick his poop up. His name is Goldie, y'all. So that's my favorite thing of the week. And thank you so much.
So in defense of Madison, okay?
I thought you were going to be in defense of the dog.
In defense of Madison, she played with my baby emotions, okay? She played because she knew Madison wanted an actual real, like she bought this baby Pinocchio. This baby wanted a real dog, and she
let me show you what my dog looked like.
Oh my goodness.
and she gave this baby Golden. Madison was so mad when I talked to Madison about it. She was so mad.
And you're holding it like it's a real something.
Y'all see my dog?
Sit down.
Golden, okay?
Right.
Okay. Hey, Instagram, y'all see my dog? This the best dog ever. Thank you.
Madison, I got your bag, okay? You just gonna have to go to your dad's house to play with your real animals.
Yeah, go to your dad's house and play with all your animals.
To your dad's house to play
You can
with your
walk
real
them, feed them. They your best friend.
Oh,
They everything
my
you need.
Lord.
And that's where we are with that. It's just it's not that I'm not a pet lover. So all you pet lovers
Yes.
don't attack
No,
me
please
and
don't.
send me all kind of
Please
threats in my
don't.
inbox
Please
and stuff
don't.
like
She
that.
does love
I
animals.
love animals. Okay, now when my
Just
daughter
not in her
leaves, I
house.
am gonna get me a dog. Okay, I'm gonna get me one because I realize I'm gonna need a pet when she's gone. Okay, because it's just me and her. Unless I'm married, then I have, we'll be each other's pets.
I just
We'll
don't
be
understand.
each other's pets. But if that's not the case, I'm praying that it is. But if it's not, I'm gonna get me a dog, and it's gonna be a big dog, and he gonna be on the show right next here.
Okay.
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 We're gonna move on to how you guys can catch us outside, and I'm gonna let Chantel talk about it because I didn't upload it. What's your name?
Which one you didn't?
I'm finna upload one right now.
My tea.
There you
Which one
go.
you upload?
It's right there.
All right. So you guys can catch us outside. So Facebook, you can see it. Facebook and YouTube, you can see it. Instagram, you cannot. So on Sunday, September the 10th at 5 p.m., it is 21 and up. We will be again at Sundown Sundays with band MVP. Okay, you can go to their page, which is on Facebook as well as Instagram. I believe it's band MVP. I think I've been saying it wrong. I've been saying MVP band, but their handles are band MVP, and you can go there and you can buy your tickets there. We had a great time last week Sunday. Jazzy Faye was in the building, and y'all, when I say Jazzy Faye said a prayer for the city, y'all, that man know the Lord.
They normally do. Don't
That
they
man
say
is
most
so
musicians know the Lord? No,
weird.
don't they say that?
Like, this man prayed, and you could tell that he know God.
But do the Lord know you though?
Like, you could do the Lord know you? But you could tell with the prayer that he set out. He prayed for the city, not just us in the room. So it was a really great experience. Of course, y'all know Stanley Black is gonna be there. MVP band and everyone attached. They're gonna do what they're gonna do. But it's always a great time. So of course, if you can and you're available on September 10th, it is from 5 to 9 p.m. So you are out at a decent time to get in bed so you can get to work on Monday morning. But we are always excited to hang out with our people when we see them. And of course, you guys get to see some of those interviews, as they're happening in real time. And then of course, later on, you'll see them uploaded like without the gaps in between. So
Yep.
That's Sundown Sunday. We have...
Oh, you're moving right along. There
we have on September 30th at 7 p.m.
Get your tickets.
We will be at Toya's Girls Jam. Your very own Pastor Coach is on the agenda. She is on the panel. She is going to be praying. Okay, she's going to be doing what she does to the fullest. Okay.
It's gonna be.
We have Precious will be there. My other best friend Ashleah will be there. Kalanda will be there. This is going to be an amazing event. And guess what, guys? We have a ticket to give away. We have a ticket to give away, so you have to be following not just Besties Tell All on Facebook and Instagram. You need to follow Toya's Girls Jam as well as The Complete Woman, and then we'll let you know everything else that getting the ticket will entail. But if you have not already, please go to Toya's Girls Jam page or The Complete Woman on Facebook and Instagram and get your tickets there. Those are on Eventbrite, so we are going to be in the building on September 30th at 7 p.m. The attire is pajamas, ladies.
We won't have on pajamas as red carpet, but you wear yours.
The attire is pajamas, okay? So you don't have to really worry about being super dressed up or super dressed down. You can just get your PJs, not lingerie, but PJs. So
if you want to wear your lingerie, wear your lingerie.
Please be appropriate.
Okay, wear your lingerie.
We will definitely be praying about it.
Okay, wear your lingerie, woman of God.
My Lord.
Okay, if you want to walk through there happy and clapping.
Right.
That's all right. All right.
So again,
woman of God, I don't want you to get kicked. Don't listen to me. It's not my business.
Don't you do it. Don't you do it. So we are super excited to be doing that on the 30th. There is one more event. Look at you. Look at you. So on September the 23rd, Besties Tell All will be doing a red carpet at the Bob's Jack's Business Connect Expo. This is with Senshay. We'll just say Senshay. I won't put the last part on there. Boyer is what she goes by, her social media handles. You can go to www.bobsjacks.com to purchase your tickets there. There are going to be some amazing people to connect with that do business here in the city, as well as outside of the city. So if you have a business or something that you're working on, this is an opportunity to network. But BTA will be doing red carpet there. We will be in the building. So always remember, when you see your besties, what? You come check us out. You give us a hug. You let us know you're watching, you're supporting. We can take a picture, do an interview with you. But this is what we have going on in the month of September.
Yes. And October will probably be equally as busy. So for those of you that are having an event, would like for us to red carpet your event, DM us. We would love to have a meeting with you and see if your event is a great fit for our brand and our brand is a great fit for your event. So just send us a little message in the DM.
Catch us outside.
So we're going to jump into, we done went through this, y'all. Yeah, we did really good. We did it in 30 minutes.
We did.
Look at God.
We're doing big things.
Because it don't take us longer. We're going to jump. We don't even have a second topic. Because grief part 2 is going to be absolutely amazing.
Indeed.
And we're going to dive into it because I have a question for you.
Okay, honey.
First question is, why do you believe that...
Wait a minute. Question of the day.
Question of the day, y'all.
Look at Coach.
Honey.
Listen.
Coach.
Oh, because Coach came up with this question. But, it's a good segment into grief. Hold the line. Okay.
What picks you up when you are down? Okay, so that is the question of the day. What picks you up when you are down? I don't have just one thing. It depends on why I'm down, right? So food, music, sleep.
Honey, yeah. Honey.
All 3 of those things coming from a professional, medical professional, or could be signs or symptoms of depression.
Yeah.
Food, music, sleep. Those are all signs and symptoms of depression. They should not be your go-to.
Well, let me tell you, they picked me up in the house. Eating my ice cream.
And right there.
I am good.
But yes, those 3 things. But to that point, health. In using it in a healthy way.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Not overdoing it, because you have some people that's like, they just sleep to avoid. Or they eat to avoid, because food is it's comforting.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. So I try not to take advantage of sleep and sweets to pick me up. And luckily, I don't have a sweet tooth like that, but I have
Got some
learned
cheesecake in the
to
refrigerator.
not to devoid myself of those types of things. So I'll put them in the house just in case.
Just in case.
I need a little sweet picker upper. I do that, okay? But I told y'all last time, I keep the windows open because I know that if I'm down, I open the windows. I open
That's
the
why
blinds.
I open the blinds. You can't open them windows. But I
Open the
blinds.
blinds. And I'm not talking about windows. You know,
I
open
open the blinds.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
things
right.
come in through the window.
Yeah, no, so I open the blinds. I make sure that I will change my environment. So if I'm upstairs, go downstairs. If I'm inside, go outside. Go take a drive, you know, something simple like that. And I'm not one to, some of you will drive across the whole city or something like that. I may go run an errand, something quick, just because I know I might need some sunlight, go outside, you know, some fresh air. But I have found recently, I love smells, candles, wax melts. I do my aromatherapy and different things, and not like officially aromatherapy, but I find that smells kind of pick me up. So I'll burn a candle or something like that.
So that's me. Every day I wake up, I burn my candles. I didn't burn them today because I know if you were sensitive to it, but now that I know that you do, usually on Sundays is my I went to a spa. And they had it smelled amazing in there. And I said, what is that smell? And it was some incense. They were burning incense. I was like, oh man, I want that. So I bought some incense and I buy candles. Like, I love candles. And I usually burn them like every day. And then on Sunday, I'll burn the incense. I burn them twice a week because incense are strong. Like, they'll leave
They will sit there.
sit in your house. So you don't burn them every day because then
Correct.
you start smelling earthy and herby. When you walk outside, people catching the contact off your
Off your
head.
clothes, yeah.
Okay, off your clothes and things. So I only burn them every now and then. But usually, y'all know what it is? It's a workout. Or I read. And usually that's either the Bible or a self-help book. But legit, I'm either going to burn a candle. I'm going to do that. I'm going to sit down and brew me some coffee. I'm going to put my feet up. Or I'm going to go to the gym. And when I go to the gym, it's like one of the best workouts I'll ever have. Because it's like all of my stress is like coming, and I'm a weightlifter. So like I go heavy, like I'm trying to get, you know.
Give me a nap. I'm not doing all that.
You know, so that's me, you know. But other than that, or I may call like Chantel or call my cousin. We just sit on the phone. Nobody's saying anything. I may watch a TV. And sometimes I just have to breathe it out.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, breathing too.
Yeah, sometimes I'll be on the phone and I'll be like, they're like, what's wrong with you? I mean, are you okay? I'm not really a person that's gonna talk about it right away. I'm trying to get better with that though. But yeah, that's what I'll do. Like, I used to ride around though and burn gas, but the gas is almost $4.
Oh, okay.
So I'm gonna go store it over
$15
my
gas.
finances. I'm gonna go store it over mine.
Right.
Okay, so I'm not fit to do that. But I used to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't.
I used to let the sunroof back, hun, put my shades on, especially if it has like it just finished raining kind of light.
Now that would be beautiful.
I used to love it, honey.
Indeed.
But gas.
I can't do the driving because I'll be on the other side of town. I'm fine, but now I got to come all the way back over here. So it's like,
But listen, y'all.
Don't-
Okay, so what did maybe you guys used to do to pick you up that was unhealthy? Because mine was shopping.
Oh, definitely shopping.
Sleep, keep the blinds closed, but I knew it led me to depression. And so I had to change the way that I process pains and
Disappointments and stuff like
I
that.
also used to, my nephew alerted me to this because I was talking to a friend. He said, y'all gossiping. I said, no, we not gossiping, we processing. But I used to gossip. That it helped me kind of get it off. But then I'm like, this is just festering, you know what I'm saying? Like the wound, you just scratching it, nagging it, it'll never heal. So I try not to talk so much with other people because that just kind of sits me knee deep into the foolishness. And it's like, child, I don't want no parts of it.
I would say working out. Mine was working out. I would, at the time when I could, my pick me up when I was down was working out. So
But
she would
that's a
call me like,
healthy
"What you doing?"
workout.
I'm walking. What you
Baby,
doing?
we
I
gonna
went to
walk
the
7 miles.
Let me tell you something. She was like, listen. At the time, something happened. I remember I was on, and this is one of the ones I can recall, like right this moment. I was on University, and I had literally just found out, something about somebody I was talking to, and I'm talking about I was when I say down, I was really down about it, and I was trying not to let it be my focus. I was like, let me get up and just do something. And I lived on University down where the CVS was, all the way down where JU is, and I walked all the way down to the other end where the Matthews Bridge was. I walked all the way down there in that little area, and then came down and walked back. Oh yeah, I was
7 miles,
and that's before Uber, right?
Before
I was walking intentionally.
I know, but I need an Uber. I'm over it now. Come get me. Get me.
And I'm talking about walking.
So when the next bus comes, let me find the JCA this straight shot. Baby.
Walking. Yeah, but that was probably one of the smallest times. Well, the smallest I had ever gotten. I want to say that.
Because of the activity. Yeah, well, that's a good way to do your thing now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sometimes I like a little stress induced, to keep my weight, be like, Lord, give me not too much. Don't put more of me that I can't bear, but a little stress right there bring my weight down. Because I used to not eat when I got stressed out. Like, I would lose my appetite. Mm-hmm. But now, like, my body is disciplined. So it's not like an appetite thing with me. Like, if I eat to live, I don't live to eat. Mm-hmm. So if I'm not hungry, I don't eat. If I'm not hungry, I don't snack. And I love water, things like that. I love natural juices and fruits with seeds. Mm-hmm. So my body is trained, so it doesn't respond in that way. You can train your body. You can train your mind over matter. Do not let the enemy make you think that you cannot do it, ladies and gentlemen. You can. You can. But I want to jump to the comments. Stephanie says,
"Hey, Stephanie,"
that she loves sweets, her food, and her daughter.
That's good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Carly's great. Carly don't let her be down. Carly don't let her be sad.
But let me tell you something about that. Man, I gotta say it.
It be kids.
Your kids can be a crutch when you're down. When you are down.
Somebody.
It is not always, and I'm not saying this is you. Let me speak from my experience, because I don't want to offend anyone. Madison was a crutch for me. Mm-hmm. She was like, anytime I was down, I would just want to call her and talk to her and sit on the phone, and I was transferring the energy over to her because she knew when I was down, and she would intentionally do stuff and record videos and send them to me in the morning. Gonna go be with my mommy. Like, I can show y'all the video. I got them, all of them. And she's older now, and some of those, that spirit that I had, that energy, she has it, and I have to pray and rebuke the devourer from over her life, because it will transfer over to that child. And it's not as invasive as it was in my life, but it's subtle, and I have an eye to see the subtleness, and so now I'm praying and rebuking that, and now my energy is different. So hopefully with all those things, fasting and praying, all that, we can reverse it. And it's working, because now it's a lot of stuff she don't care about. Okay, she just don't care.
Very good. I like it. I'm seriously, I'd rather a person be, and nonchalant. Being nonchalant is very dangerous. I used to be that person, but rather her not be so emotional about particular things than to be overly emotional about those things. That's what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what it is. Yes. Some areas, like, she used to be really overly emotional. Like, she would lose stuff and just freak out, and I have to help. I have to find it or act like, it was never lost. Go and buy it and say, "Ooh, we looking for it," throw it under the bed, and then, "Ooh, I found it," and she's super happy. That kind. I know that's manipulation and trickery. Don't judge me, okay? You do what you have to do as a parent, all right? To keep the peace. You want peace in your home, okay? Right. But I used to do all those things. So yeah, but I just want to throw that out there, Stephanie. Yes, our kids can be a sense of joy to us, to help pick us up, but we also have to be very careful. There are some moments where we have to sit those children off to the side and go deal with our stuff, and the child never even see that we were down.
Yeah.
Right.
So I just want to throw that out there. And that leads us into grief.
For sure.
Being down. My question,
all right,
okay, is, let me take it off. And y'all, thank y'all so much for hanging in there with us today. We really appreciate it.
Indeed.
And if you're on, go follow, like, and subscribe.
Share,
and
drop
please.
some fire in the chat.
Please share.
Instagram, y'all been hanging with us since
Y'all
we
come in
started.
and out. Y'all don't see what we see on the screen, but y'all hanging in
Y'all
there. We
sticking
appreciate
with
y'all
us.
and value y'all. In grief, why is it that the word teaches us that followers of Christ grieve differently?
That says so good. You heard my pastor voice come in. I expected the organ to come in to run around the church.
Definitely got you.
Oh, you want me to run?
No, she done got on my nerve. You about to mess up the spirit.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go.
You about to mess up. Listen, let me tell y'all something. If a person
Jesus.
has faith, there's always hope to be had. My hope is in God, right? And so if we as Christians would keep that in mind, which means pray, then we understand I'm not really counting on whoever the guy is. I'm depending on Jesus. I'm not depending on the job or all of these other very temporary things. I'm depending on Jesus. I'm depending on God. My hope is in Christ alone, right? And so we miss that because when we bet on things, depend on things,
Put our faith in that thing.
put our faith in the thing, people, places, and things, then we miss my hope should be in God alone, right? And so obviously as a Christian, we should grieve differently in that way because I wasn't banking on this. Yes, it hurts that you lost your job, you got bad news, you lost the house or didn't get the house in the first place. Absolutely, it hurts. However, we know that God works everything together for our good. So here's what we do. We spend some time and lament. We talked about that last time. Have your grief and allow yourself to process it. But always have your hope in God so that you can put a praise on whatever is in the future, right? So that you can praise God in advance for whatever is coming. When we as Christians despair, right, then you have like this discouragement, this depression, all of these things that the world might need to kind of overcome. We shouldn't need some of the things that we using to overcome. You know what I'm saying? Alcohol, smoking, sexing. Honey, I was in seminary when I found out that some people grieve
By having sex.
by having sex. I say, my God, my good God. Especially if it's good sex. I mean, I can get it. You know, just like sweets and things. But we're not going to talk about too much detail. But here's my point. My point is, if we would depend on God and not kind of go back to the cravings and fall back what is in the bottle and all of these different things, then we can truly put our hope in God and we grieve differently in that way. You know what I mean?
But people become, they don't know any other way.
Right, of course.
You know, they don't know any other way. They don't know how to grieve different. They don't know how to come out of that that place.
Right.
What are ways or steps that people can take to come out of that space so that when grief hit, or because grief is just not about losing someone, losing things, a job, you know, losing your joy. That's a part of grief. You know, any kind of loss, right? People go to what they know.
Absolutely.
And then they don't have examples of how to get out.
There you go.
So what are ways those people cannot go to what they know, but go to something different?
See, you hit it. It's examples. You have to find yourself in spaces that grieve differently, right? Spaces that lament differently. So, so let's think about rioting. In our grief, we go riot. To grieve and protest is different than grieving and rioting.
Facts.
You understand? Like, it should not incorporate
Violence.
the violence. That's the word. The violence. And I was going to say the normal violence that we might be accustomed to. So anytime, and y'all, I am vexed with the challenges that marriages are facing right now. So traditionally, I've seen a lot of people and couples in anger use violence, right? And
Even with their
aggression,
mouth.
right? And it may not be right because violence is not just physical, is what I'm trying to say. Violence is emotional, it's mouth, it's aggressions. Violence is to myself. I do violence and harm. You know, when I have to be yell and scream and punch a wall, you messing up your house. You understand? When you got to throw something every time. When you have to go to the shooting range, or they have the ceramics place. Now, I do want to go to the ceramics place.
The smash room.
I want to go.
I'm trying to, let's make us a date, okay? But if you have to use aggression every time, that's problematic. So just like Cherise said, that with Madison, she grieved differently. So Madison has a new example now of how to grieve. And we have to, because maybe you don't see the example in your environment, you find and see people who journal, who walk, right? And even with walking, walk not in aggression. You understand? Now
you got to stomp through
you walk in a circle, right? Something that soothes us differently. Breathe instead of yell.
Or holding your breath.
Oh my God, that's when I do. You do it too? I don't take deep breaths, y'all. I have shallow breathing, but I realize it's because I'm, just kind of managed. I know Cherise and I are similar in ways. And so it is just making sure you just take deep breaths. So the way to do it is have different examples. I've learned you have to change the people, the places, the things. You have to get in new environments, right? If you're accustomed to going and cussing with your auntie when y'all mad about a man, don't go cuss with your auntie when y'all mad about a man. You and auntie can still hang out. Go to the dessert shop. Go have some tea. And so that's what I've learned. I've learned to do different things. So tea has been that thing for me that kind of keeps me centered.
I love tea.
I talked to a young lady yesterday. She was telling me about some things going on in her marriage. I said, all your jewelry that you have, you take it and you put it under the bed. Get you some pearls. I said, and just wear pearls for 30 days. I said, a woman who wears pearls moves differently. A woman who wears pearls, then as opposed to a woman who wears bangles. And this is not about the jewelry. This is about the energy.
The energy.
You see what I'm saying? So it is
That's so true,
a different environment, or the way that we adorn or carry ourselves. If I wear a certain thing, I don't act a certain way. And you talk about take your earrings off. Certain earrings I'm not going to take off. You understand? So ain't no need to take them off, right?
I'm not going to take off my pearls, because first of all, my pearls real.
That's what I'm saying. That's
and
what
they're my grandmama's pearls.
There you go.
And I can't lose them pearls.
There you go.
But that's so true, because when I crossed over with my fraternity, we had to wear pearls every day. And that was a part. That was the standard. That was the standard.
You.
So much so, I was like, Lord, when I finish with this, I don't want to put on another pearl. But when I wear them, there's my spirit.
Wait. Just see how her body shifts.
Yeah, how she's
her body shifts.
Yes, it does. But that's something that we learned about what the pearl stood for and how precious it is. So yes, pearls are
and we never went through the training. But we know a woman with pearls is a different type of woman. Real or fake, we don't know, right? Not all of us. And so when
you go get you some good pearls from Penny's. Penny's not here, but you can go to Dillard's. They always have them on sale.
Yes,
good pair of pearls.
Yes,
they do.
And I'm gonna tell you where else you can go get you some icing. They have some nice pearls too.
Yeah. So if we change our environment, change our adornments, it literally will change you. That's what they say about unprofessional settings. Dress for the job you want, not for the job you have. Dress how you want to live and how you want to be, how you want to show up, how you want to express your grief. Dress like it. Somebody put in the comments to wear PJs. PJs hug you differently than some regular shorts and t-shirts. So if you're grieving, put you on some satin, baby. You understand?
Comment. Most of us grieve how we see others grieve.
Exactly.
We do what we see. So next we do what we see.
So instead
of seeking help from a therapist or God, we self-help.
Exactly. We do. And I'm going to comment on that. So I'm a psychology major. I'm a pastor. So I have all of these backgrounds that you're mentioning. I've written many devotional books or curated many devotional books. Let me tell y'all something about these affirmations. They fall short. Okay? Instead of self-help, we need to be thinking about soul help. Jesus. Instead of self-care, we need to think about soul care. Okay? I see a lot of us using like a lot of language and verbiage that would say I'm taking care of myself, but really we're not always taking care of ourselves. We're taking care of the outside. But soul care says let's take care of the inside. Okay? And so even if we go to a therapist, but what the therapist teaches me does not carry back over into my home, my lifestyle, I'm simply now paying an expense that ends up just being expensive, like driving your gas all over town and you still angry, or you still got to drive every single time. And so I'm saying psychology, absolutely. Therapy, absolutely. Counseling, journaling, absolutely. I'm asking us to merge it then with faith and Christian practices. If you're doing counseling, therapy, journaling, and not praying, not fasting, not covering your house, not anointing your home, and making sure that, I understand trouble don't last always, like using the Bible as your affirmations. Joy comes in the morning, but I have prayed in such a way, I don't need a God that shows up in the morning. I need a God gonna show up right now. You understand?
I mean, now.
I need him today, right now. You understand? Right now. And so we have to then take what the church teaches us and embody it in a bold way.
Yeah.
Don't just be casual about grief. Grief can and will kill you. And I mean that.
I believe that.
You know what else? I'm going to tell you what else coupled with grief will kill you. And the enemy uses it to disguise it. The enemy uses it in conjunction with grief, guilt.
Oh gosh, shame. Guilt and shame. Because it's not even what you did, it's the guilt and
it's
the
the
shame.
guilt and the shame
that kills you.
That will kill you, coupled with that grief.
Yeah.
Honey, it is a cycle that will take you out of here. And honey, I know, because I tried to kill myself over guilt and shame and grief. All three of them from my divorce.
Oh,
sitting on the
absolutely.
porch, honey.
Absolutely.
I know. Yes. Almost did it. But God. Here.
But
But
God.
God. And one day you'll be able to tell it. So, not this week, last week, because we didn't go live last week. So it was last week. I ordered some lotions from Bath and Body Works, right? And they were having a sale, and these were the lotions you can put in your purse, the little small ones, little small tubes. And I ordered a few different fragrances, right? And so one of the days I finished with one of them and threw a new one in my bag. And I got to work one day, I washed my hands. My hands were really dry. So I go to my purse, I squeeze the lotion into my hand, and I began to put the lotion on. And this smell, the aroma of the lotion hits my nose, and my eyes immediately fill with tears. Okay. I purposefully stopped buying the lotion because it was the lotion that I used at the time that my aunt was transitioning. And I didn't realize when I was picking them that I selected it and put, like, not even, because it's been so long, not even, and I was like stuck. Like stuck. And I was like, I ordered like 3. I'm gonna throw these away. But you know what I did? I didn't throw them away. It's still in my purse right now. Now I don't use it every day.
Keep talking.
Well, I don't use it every day. But what I did say was, my aunt was real. She lived. She breathed. She had a life. She gave me love. She gave her family love. So I am not supposed to forget her.
Right.
And I often feel like when people are grieving, they do, instead of managing it, they attempt to avoid it.
Oh, absolutely.
And in avoiding, you sometimes push away the memory that person had in your life. And I think we do a disservice to not just ourselves, but to the memory of that person. Because they were real. They lived. They had a place and a space here in the earth and in our hearts. And I think that when we try to shun that, we try to push that aside and not deal with it, that even makes the grief, to me, when it does hit, even more intense.
Absolutely.
So I went and grabbed something because my mom died. My stepdad did not give me anything of my mother's. There was a lot of tension in the family at that time. My stepdad didn't really care for my mother's children like that because we didn't care for him like that. Like, we were those stepkids. Well, we tried to break up the marriage because we just didn't like him. We didn't think that he was a good fit for her because we were children. We didn't know any better. Later down, as I got older, I realized that he was a person that she needed for what was happening in her life. But as children, we didn't know, right? And my mom died when I was 18, and my mom was she was a label girl, okay, and she bought things. She had a lot of things, but she had some very high quality things. And this lipstick was my mom's, a Christian Dior red lipstick. I actually buried her in this lipstick. And one day I needed a red lipstick. So I put the lipstick on. And I love my mother to death, but honey, I thought I was Janice that day.
Couldn't tell you.
You couldn't tell me nothing, honey. I had on some, and then I sprayed on her favorite Dior perfume. And I still have the bottle, right? It smells terrible because, you know, she's been gone almost 20 years. So it smells absolutely, it was just terrible. Yeah, it was just, yeah. But I'm saying that to say that, when I put it in my purse that day, it was a full bottle of lipstick, but I left it in the car and it melted. And I remember picking this up because this is the only thing I have of my mom. The only thing he gave me were some, I had 3 things he gave me. 4, a house robe, which I no longer have because every time I wore it, every time I put it on, I would have dreams of her. And all the dreams end in my mother dying. So I stopped wearing it. I actually gave it away. Y'all remember them Chinese little shoes, the house shoes you can get from the hair store that had the little net on top with the little beaded flowers, all green, red, blue, all of it. My mom had a pair of them. So I had that, a book of pictures, and her lipstick. And I only got this when she passed. I needed a lipstick for her. So I went into her house and I grabbed this lipstick. And so when I left it in the purse, in the car, I just grabbed my wallet and I came out, it was melted. Y'all, I didn't even cry. I ain't even cry. It was like the red was symbolic of blood. The red was symbolic of God's blood. Because the prayer was that my mom made it into heaven. My grief was that I didn't know if she would make it or not, because my mother had done a lot of things in her life. I don't necessarily know that type of woman would make it into the kingdom of God based on what I was taught. But my cousin confirmed to me later on that my mom did give her life to Christ before she passed. And I asked for a sign. And I asked for a sign maybe about a week ago. And when the red had spilled, God was like, my blood is sufficient. And so I keep it. You see, it's all dusty. It's like, you know, it got all kinds, it's tarnished and everything. And every now and again I do wear it, but I break out, you know, it's like, cause it's old, you know, it's like it's black. Got to pick it off my lip, you know, I don't even care. But when you think about those moments, you know, those moments, and I'm gonna stop talking after this. I gotta share this. I used to be, my grief used to be really bad with my mom. So much so that it was unhealthy grief. Like it would draw with my friends. It would draw my friends in with it, and I had to come out of that. And as the years went on, and I decided to grieve differently. Right. And I took some pictures of my mom. I posted it all over social media on her death anniversary and like different memories. And so now on my mom's, her death anniversary, sometimes it comes and goes. Sometimes I miss it. But her birthday, stuff like that, like I go celebrate. I go have a meal, something I know she loves to eat. This year, for the very first time in a long time, I used to cook okra and tomato. After she died, I stopped cooking it. Right. And then this year, I made some okra and tomato. Right. And it was, I forget how much I liked it, honey. I made me another pot the week after. Okay. And me and Master ate okra, tomato, sausage, corn. Y'all know. My Lord. Okay. But I'm just saying, to that point, certain things will take you there, but it's a choice. It is a choice. Grieving healthy as a believer, and not even as a believer. If you don't even believe in Christ, okay, say you don't even believe in, you don't know who Christ is. I hope you do. I hope you watch this show and the Lord reach out and give your life to Christ. Okay, we need some gems and rubies and things in our crowd, but to that point, it's a choice. It is a choice.
Absolutely is. And I'm going to piggyback on what you said, kind of tying into Sharice's story as well. We grieve to the extent that we loved a thing.
Mm.
So grief actually shows us how much we care. You know, grief is not a bad thing, as it shows us the depth of connection, the depth of longing, the desire. It's a good thing. Grief shows you the nature of your capacity for love, right? And at the same time, the way we grieve shows us our ability to have good grief, is what I've been calling it, good grief. We say good grief, you know, and we usually say it in like a negative. I'm gonna just stay right here, but we should have good grief in the sense that, yes, I love my mother. You know, it makes sense that I love, as a daughter would, alive or transition. You want to wear your mother's clothes, you want to have on your mother's robe.
She was sharp too.
But you also realize I cannot live in my mother's shoes or
can't.
shadow forever, even
Nor
if she's
did
here.
I want to.
Yeah, exactly. But
Be
here's
clear.
what we do: we take grief, and now I got to stay stuck in the place of this person, this relationship, this loss, when it was never intended for you to be stuck in that level of longing, because it has us be attached to things that won't allow us to go forward, right?
So what about when older people have been together for so long and then someone died,
and then the other
and
person
the other one died shortly after?
Heartache is a real thing. Heartbreak is a real thing.
Heartbreak.
Yeah, it's a real thing.
Mm.
I mean, it's a real thing. I mean, I think about postpartum depression, y'all.
Ugh.
Is a major thing that we don't spend enough time speaking about. But to have such great joy and to have such great sorrow,
at the same
right?
time.
After you have literally produced this, I just think pregnancy and birth is a miracle.
Indeed.
A woman has done a miracle and have such despair because the level of nurture while the baby is in you is different than external to you, right? As with breakups and everything else, you know. And so I think about it in terms of our ability to process where we were, where we are, and then where we're going. Grief tends to leave you living in the past. It doesn't even let you live in the present
or future.
You understand? Let alone go to the future, right? And so, yes, we have our connections and people do pass away, but sometimes, especially in the case of older people, that person was the thing that you were living for that person. You were living for that thing. So God forbid that thing leave. That's why grief is a hindrance to young people. Because grief could cause you to be stuck. Don't grow. Don't change. Don't do anything different because of bitterness, broken hearts, blaming. You know, there's so many levels of grief, right? Yeah. So again, it's not just losing people. It's losing sense of identity. You know, I thought this marriage was going to happen this way. I thought this boyfriend, I thought my child's father, this was going to happen like this. But we cannot even move on if we keep thinking about what you thought. Even if y'all didn't break up, what you thought was never going to be the reality anyway.
I got a question for the people that's watching. Put in the chat what you have grieved. What have you grieved or is still grieving from? Put in the chat. Yeah, because I want to ask you something. You have a question, Chantel?
I don't have a question. I was just thinking about
what you grieving from. So I'm
not even gonna share it on.
Is it?
I didn't even know I was still grieving it until it
She asked a question.
Until it happened. Go ahead. Until it kind of
just passed.
Yeah,
right,
like
it comes
literally
it
right.
come right to you.
That's
literally
why I'm glad we're having this
right
conversation,
to me.
y'all, because we don't think about that stuff.
Literally right to me. And when I say I have not shared it with any, when I say I ain't uttered a word. First of all, I was mad.
Ready to fight.
I was mad because I felt something at all. I was mad because the fact that I felt something, I was angry with myself. I was like, oh no, you are beyond this. You are past this. In my mind, like, what? Why? What is this? With myself, and I'm like, okay, so you got work to do.
But I don't know that we should deny ourselves those feelings. I'm saying that because I do it all. I deny myself certain feelings all the time, and it don't work out for my good. So, but I want to say this: do you think people grieve singleness?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I want to say something before that. Some of you who are answering this question that Sharice asked, you don't know what grief looks like because we've been taught to always be okay. Our culture is always all right. But anger is a huge sign of grief. Okay,
talking
so
about
what are you angry about? Go ahead and list that in the comments. Okay, so
grieving singleness.
yeah, I think in terms of singleness, it depends on the individual, right? Sometimes singleness, again, lacking identity, whatever you imagine your life would look like. We used to play MASH. Y'all remember MASH?
I do.
You used to play MASH, and you had the $1 million, and you had the cars, and you had the money, and you had the house, and all these things. And then when your mash done mash up like you needed to mash up, then it's a loss, could be a loss of identity, right? And so singleness is not just, I don't have a man, I don't have the entitlements or the lifestyle. Even socially, it changes your friends, how people respond, everything. It could be a lack of companionship. Sometimes, let me tell you, as a single woman, sometimes you just want to be held. You just
Hold
want
me,
to
baby.
You just want to be touched.
Okay.
Touched.
Don't touch me like that.
You understand? Everything makes you like, you're a little sensitive, a little hug, you just melt. You don't mean no harm. But when I think about, the world will tell us that men kind of crave physicality more than women. I firmly believe that's a lie.
It's a lie, baby.
I believe that's
It's
a
a
lie
lie.
for the pits.
Yes, it is. It's women.
I believe it's women.
I'ma tell you about
we are
me, honey.
nurturing.
Touch me.
We
Touch
want that. We
me.
want
Tease
it.
me.
And
No, you want me to stop?
do your thing. Do your thing. Look, the Lord done brought me a mighty long way. She about to have a setback. I'm about to have a setback. I'm talking about touch me, tease me. You know. So all I'm saying is, yeah, absolutely, people can grieve their single lifestyle, but that's what I say. You cannot be stuck in the condition of your life as it is. You press forward with what God gives you. With what God gives you. And because let me tell you something, y'all know that everybody knows this. Being in a relationship is not a promise for a better outcome, better life, better happiness, better
baby.
joy. And I'm not saying that we as single women that say, oh, they not happy, oh, they faking it. No, everybody not faking their happiness and their joy. All I'm saying is you better enjoy what you got, whatever that is.
Whatever-
It's work
whatever it
when the
looks like.
relationships come, baby. It's
Yeah,
work.
it's work. And
Yeah.
some single women, you get selfish. You don't want to provide that level of work. So you can be grieving even in a relationship. You could be a newlywed still sad.
Ooh,
True.
talk
Good.
about that, because it's women that's grieving loneliness in marriages.
Oh, honey. Being married don't make you less lonely if that's the thing. That's why we have to take care of our souls, right? We have to take care of our humanity, our individuality, because having friends doesn't make you less, lonely. If lonely is your feeling, if you are in that state of depression that is loneliness, that's a feeling. The world didn't give you, people don't make me feel less lonely. I do that. Increase of people doesn't change my
does
feeling
not.
of
Doesn't.
stability, and being okay all by yourself. And not assuming that because I don't have a person, that means I have less joy. I'm responsible for my joy. Okay.
Correct.
So yeah, you could be
In and out.
You
of the
can have all the marriage, kids, everything
Right,
that you
chicken
put on your
fingers,
mashup.
everything.
You can have all of that and still be lonely, still be sad, still be grieving.
Grieving. Wow.
Grieving hard, grieving even harder because you thought those things would
Make
change
you
the
happy.
grief.
Ooh, that's
Yes.
good. I
That's real
grieved my last job with Walmart.
Oh, you got to call the people name.
Look at her face.
You're right. That's a bitter part of me. I'm bitter. Okay, I'm working through that. That's my grief. You want to know what my grief is? That's my grief. But it wasn't the company, because the company paid me well. The company provide great benefits. It was the people.
It's the people.
And it was one particular lady that was trying to get me fired. It made my process and my matriculation through that company a living hell. and I grieved my decision. And I later found out why I had to go through that, because I had prayed and asked God for something, and he needed to break me out of some habits that I had, and working at this job stimulated something in me that made me move a certain type of way, and I still use that skill right now, and I needed that skill for this job.
Absolutely.
And my present job, but I grieve that decision. And I think like they call it buyer's remorse, but it's a grief.
Absolutely it is.
And I think, do you guys grieve decisions that you've made?
Oh, honey, absolutely.
Outside of like feeling guilty or shame or like disappointed about it, there's a grief that comes with that.
Absolutely. I think about even now, the decisions I've made to change and adjust my life because of the loss of my sister, to be more present in Jacksonville, to do things that, and this is just one example, but sometimes we think we're doing things for the greater good of the whole, right? And so you think, well, for my family, I'm going to take care of my grandmother. For my family, I'm going to take responsibility for something that I have no business taking responsibility for, paying extra bills because, well, that's my brother, or these various things, that's my neighbor, whomever. It can be all kinds of scenarios, or even for churches. As Christians, especially women, we do all types of things for the church, and the pastor asked me for this and first lady this, and I'm not saying don't honor these things, but I'm thinking about how we make these decisions for others and put ourselves in uncompromising territory where we are uncomfortable and we don't net the gain that we thought we would net. Correct. And we don't even know what it is. We don't. We just, well, this is what you're supposed to do. Well, what is that? You understand? Because we'll do a lot of things, especially as women, that serve other people because you're supposed to. And then we will be grieving alone because you don't see those things working out in return.
I've done it.
Indeed.
I've done it. I'm guilty.
Guilty, but some of that is learned.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It is learned.
Those are things that we've seen our parents do, that we've seen our grandparents do, that we've seen our aunts and uncles do, that weren't healthy, but we didn't know they weren't healthy.
Yeah.
And then by the time we realize they're unhealthy, it's because it's messed up something in our lives. Like it directly affects us, and something that we've done or a decision that we've made. But a lot of us don't know.
No, I don't think you know.
Or didn't know.
And you know what? I don't think now that don't knowing is an excuse anymore. It is. Back then, that would be it's an acceptable excuse. Hey, I don't know. But it is so much technology. God has used technology in so many ways where now you can know, you can learn or be exposed to different methods and ways of doing things.
Who shows them that? So if they don't have anyone around them to show them that what they're doing or the behavior that they're doing is wrong, how do they even know to look elsewhere?
So I do not believe that if you are God's child, that he does not give you a warning. I do not believe that if you are God's child, that there is no way of you getting what you need. I do believe that as God's child, when he puts it in front of you, you have a choice to then take the red or the blue pill. You could to be better or not. To be better or not.
Correct.
That is the choice that you have.
Yes.
Now, familiarity, fear, being uncomfortable, the sacrifice of being better when that pill is presented to you, that is not as appealing. So we fall back to what is comfortable instead of going on to what is uncomfortable to be better. There are a remnant of people, I believe, that is set apart. You don't have a choice.
Oh, absolutely.
So even when you try to run,
He
captures you and snatch you up
Yeah.
and put you in environments to grow you, because there is something on your life and a purpose that he needs you to do. And some purpose, there's a purpose. Your purpose, you don't have a choice of what that purpose is.
Right.
You understand? So I do believe that So if you are you're God child, even let's say you're not, whoever, I don't know these other the other ones. What I am saying is that your conscious mind, people of the universe. Let's talk about the universe. Your conscious mind.
I don't like to talk about it.
Okay, that's what some people in the
stupid.
universe. Your conscious mind. You know right from wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You know what feels good, what's right, what's not. Okay? And even if you're in an environment what seems to be right, there is a part of us that is given, because everybody is formed in the likeness of Christ. Mm-hmm. There's a part of you that knows something, an unction in you that says, hey, something is better. Now, you have a choice to go and get better, but there are people that don't know how to choose. Now, that's a different question. How do you learn to choose?
Well, I think all of this takes us back to what I was talking about with the soul care. Patterns show us to keep on doing the same thing, same habit. I'm doing it because externally this looks like the best decision. Mm-hmm. But when I take care of my soul says versus universe, or God says, I ain't tell you to do that. You need to get from around there. You understand? And so you do have these nudgings of the spirit. But here is what we do. We do not involve God. We do not involve God in a lot of the situations where we say, well, I'm going to take care of this or that X, Y, and Z person. And the Lord ain't told you to do that. So now you can't pay your bills, or you mad because they didn't pay you back. If it were your ministry, if it were something that God led you to do, then the grief should not even exist in the same way. You should be doing it for the glory of God, and that's it. I remember a scenario. It just happened to do with my sister. I used to send things to her house, gifts for the children, notes, letters. Anybody who knows me a little bit of time, I'm going to write you a little love letter, a little note, or something cutesy. Yeah. And I would be upset. Well, no, they ain't say thank you, or, whatever, right? And so we get caught up on very small things. Yeah. I'm one for formalities, Yes. If you don't do the formalities with me, I'm so offended. Now, I'll never say anything about it, but I feel some type of way. I was talking to my mentor about it, and I say, well, dog, I done sent stuff over to the house. I don't know whether they got it. And I'll say it's because I want to know that it was delivered. Amazon will tell you that it was delivered. And send you the picture. What I wanted was you to say thank you. I wanted you to acknowledge me, so on and so forth. My mentor told me, and I never forget it.
Never do.
She said, deliver the mail. I say, She said, the Lord only told you to deliver the mail. He didn't say, be worried about whatever the package is out there, worry about when they got the mail, who opened the mail, shake the box when they get it, did money fall out, deliver the mail. He said the mailman ain't concerned about all this other stuff. And so us, when we are doing what God has told us to do, there you go, right. So then it's like we're not givers or receivers.
Ain't no money fall out.
There you go. So when you take care, I ain't got nothing. Put that back. I'm telling the people my stuff. Nah. So all I'm saying is, when we are really doing stuff that God leads us to do, that's why I was talking to Sharice about this Friday. I think it was Friday. I've been praying this ever since, y'all. I told Sharice, I said, Sharice, we got to be praying to check our motives, purify our motives. I've been praying that ever since, so that if my motive is right, all that grief we be holding because people didn't respond a certain way, they didn't introduce you, they put you on program. If you're really doing it for God, if you're really doing it for the church, then the guilt, the shame that, you didn't get honored.
The entitlement.
And we say, I'm Christ-like, but none of us walks in humility. Not one.
Christ didn't even walk in humility like that.
No, he did not.
Because Christ will tell you who he was.
Right.
Read your Bible.
Right.
They done feminized Christ. Christ, they feminized him, made him look soft. Okay, gave him these rosy cheeks and things of that nature. Jesus was a carpenter.
He was rough.
He had muscles. He built things. And if women, the man come to your house, he built things. You see the muscles popping through and things. He was.
I be watching the TikToks.
He was a masculine man. And you asked him who he was. he was very confident, and he will tell you who he is. When you ask God who he is, I am.
Right.
That I am. Okay, my ways are higher and my thoughts. So he lets you know you here, I'm here. Get your life. Okay. So we don't walk in humility. It's very much so a false presence of humility. But do you think that people also grieve for attention?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Honey, yes. I mean, and this is America, right? I don't believe in
This
other
is
cultures
America.
and different societal expectations. I don't believe there's the pressure to be seen, to be needed, to be appreciated, and to be so self-centered. I think America, we have such a individual-centered society and faith. We believe I could just do my prayer and meditation all by myself. I don't have to have any covering. I don't have to have any pastor. I don't have to have any authority over me. God speaks directly to me, and I don't need anybody
That's
to
what we believe.
interpret my interpretation of God-given information.
Right.
It's a lie, right? And this is the things that has us at odds with each other all the time, because we're so worried about my unique identity that there can never be any unity, okay? And so it's a challenge when we, in terms of the feigned humility, because I totally agree. We're pretending to be humble, but you want to be seen. Well, I could just be in the back. You ain't got to tell me nothing. But God forbid we do say, well, thanks, Chantel. She gonna come rolling to the front. You understand? I don't need nothing. You know, but you know, we dress
I'm
to
coming
be
to the
seen.
front.
There you go. So
Hey, I'm gonna let y'all know right. I'm
Yes.
coming to the front.
yes, I'm gonna sit so you can see me. And I'm gonna pretend I don't want to be seen.
Okay, when you say I'm gonna be like, oh, but I'm gonna get up from. Yes, sir.
And then you know how your person-to-person video. Turn the video.
You got that?
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you about midnight. Because
Yeah.
I had to get past that. Because I had some imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
And when you realize you called and set apart, people gonna call you out. So you got to expect that.
There
Okay,
you
when you
go.
got a
There
certain
you
presence
go.
when you walk into a room,
Yeah.
people gonna notice you. Okay, that's just it's on your life. So you got to be okay with that. And before I would get upset, jealous, other people would get the attention that I wasn't getting. Then God set me back. I started sitting in the back. Then I got offended when God did call me forward. Because when I want you to call me forward, you can call me forward. When I sit in the back, now you want to call me forward. Then God say, I'm gonna do what I want to do with you when I want to do it. You just need to be ready and stop wanting it when you want it. So then after that, I say, you know what, Lord? I know you called, you set me apart, whatever. But yeah, honey, call me out. Put me on the program. You need to put me on that program. When I show up, I'm going to show up in the spirit of excellence.
Yeah.
Excellence.
And I'm going to do it with the spirit of excellence and God led. That's the difference. When you do it self-seeking, the word declares, the praise that you get from man, that is your reward. When you do it unto the Lord, there's a separate reward that is set apart for you. That's the one you want. So I had to learn the difference, because I did church the same way. I was doing church just to be at church, so people could see I was at church. But there were some days I didn't want to go to church. So now I'm in the season of my life where my relationship with God is stronger, because I'm not just doing church. I'm actively pursuing the Lord, because church was a distraction.
Oh, absolutely.
It was a distraction, and I grieved church.
My God, you own something
when
now.
I said that is so good, and
You
I'll
own
even
something.
I'll even speak to that as well.
I grieved the church.
Being someone who served, you know, I went for a while because there was a need to serve. There was I desired to serve. I desired to give my gift to God, yes, but there were a lot of Sundays where I was like, well, I don't want to, but
if I don't
if
show
I don't
up,
go,
I'm going to hear somebody's mouth.
they gonna call me, they gonna text me, they gonna want to know where I'm at, what I'm doing, and why I'm not in the building. So I did it that way. God still wasn't getting no glory. Now people were being saved, people were being delivered, but not because of me. It was because of the Holy Spirit. Had nothing to do with me. But I'm saying in my bed, oh, I don't feel like this. So God not pleased with what I'm giving him.
That's where your attitude wrong.
But that's why they say, you all, that obedience is better
Than sacrifice.
than sacrifice.
Not sacrifice or better than obedience.
No, right, because the sacrifice is our time, it is the discomfort, it is I don't feel like, all of these things. Obedience is the Lord said it.
Oh, that's good.
The Lord said it. And so we'll say, well, the people aren't getting saved because of me, but your obedience is teaching them something. Your showing up regularly is showing them something. It's showing us something too. It's showing us that there is a sacrifice. There's something to give God. And in that, God will be glorified, right? But the obedience is, don't even think about what you're sacrificing. Don't even think about. And that's what we are held on, right? That's the grief. Because I'm over here. The Lord know I don't want to do this. And I'm just like, girl, get over that, right?
I want to.
Because I think about you all. You think about in service. I don't feel like it sometimes. What about pastors?
Oh, I know they don't feel like it.
You know how
ain't
many
got
times
to
I know he
feel
felt like it when
it?
he got up there and he didn't really have no sermon. And he just started talking. Be like, yeah, he didn't feel like it this morning, but he pulling on God.
Yeah.
And God gonna lead him.
Exactly. And that's why the obedience is a good thing, y'all, because if we would but present ourselves as willing, then God, that's when the Holy Spirit comes in and does
he can
the
do
stuff.
it. Yeah, he can do
Our
it.
ego will be in the way. Now you in the back, now you in the front, now you in the side, now you come late. You used to be on time because you wanted people to show you. Now you're late. It's like, that is how the Holy Spirit moves. You know how many people serving God and don't feel like it, don't want to, but the obedience says, for you, I will present myself. Now, what will you do with the unworthy, wicked, guilty, shamed, depressed, done ate my snacks,
Okay.
And so that's the grief. And I'm saying it in this way, y'all, because I want us to see that to be a willing, living sacrifice should not carry the weight of grief that it does. If we would do it for God and not for ourselves.
Yes.
And that's why we have to change who is centered. Is it self-centered or is it soul-centered?
So then, is that a lack? So then, when someone does it for, I done set for it because I got good to me. When somebody do it for themselves and not necessarily for the Lord, do you believe, or do you believe that that's a sign of having the form of godliness but denying the power thereof?
I believe sometimes it does start with self. Sometimes, let me tell y'all, we can be more faithful to self than we can be to God many times.
But why do you think that is?
I think it is because we have not spent enough time in prayer, in worship, in fasting. If I spend enough time praying, worship, fasting, I die to self. I'm not as concerned with self-preservation, whether you said thank you. If the Lord tell me to send you the letter, I'm going to send you the letter. I should not be concerned about anything other than your soul and how that blesses your soul in that letter.
I got whooped for that. Something had happened and I was like, yeah, I don't get my credit. I don't get my credit. And I was in prayer. I was in prayer. And I was writing something down and I started shaking. I couldn't even write it. And the Lord said, it don't matter if you never get the credit.
There you go.
And I was like, I want my credit.
There you go.
And God said, it don't matter. Do you want credit or do you want the blessing? God, I want the blessing.
And let me tell you something about that. I love that. I love praying for my blessings. But even that, it's still thinking about me. Right? It's still thinking about me. It's still and I'm not saying the Lord does not want us to do all this for nothing. There's a seed that is sown. We got to know that God gives fruit.
I'm not doing this for nothing, Lord.
There you go. So I'm not saying don't. What I'm saying is prioritize God getting the glory. Blessings will come. But if we put God in getting the glory first, then heaven will open up and pour out. But it says, seek ye first the kingdom.
The kingdom.
It didn't say seek me, seek my bills paid, seek my man, and he gonna be a carpenter builder.
Like Jesus.
touch me, tease me, and everything.
Like
Don't you touch
your teeth.
Right. That's all I'm saying. So
Yes, sir.
yes, y'all, it is the obedience to the extent that God will be glorified.
That's good. That was preached today in church. That was so good. That's so good. That's so good. Do you guys have any questions? Let's see. You guys had tuned in. We got a couple of y'all been on for a while, so I think y'all just kind of listening. Must be really good to y'all. We know how y'all do. Y'all will start sharing, and this Sunday is fun day, Sunday, whatever you want to call it. And y'all are sharing. People come on and start commenting. But if it's good to you, say good.
Good.
Because that's good. Good. That's good to me. Okay, so we talked about buyer's remorse, kind of like grieving that. We talked about things that we do that pick us up when we down. We talked about different things that you could grieve. You can grieve in a marriage. You can grieve singleness. You can grieve church. Can you grieve success?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. So I befriend many locals here in Jacksonville, males who.
What they at? You told them? Y'all on here? Well, friend.
Anyway,
hey friend.
Don't you worry about nothing she's saying. So I have befriended in the past. When I came from Atlanta and I came back to Jacksonville, I became friends with people who own some businesses in the downtown area. So, socialites who kind of cultivated particular spaces. And I often I'm the only woman. And I would talk to all of these guys some of whom have hosted the Think Bold experiences that you all just recently went to. So those are my friends. We used to hang out together. So as I would talk to persons like Troy or my friend Adrian, Malcolm, different people in different industries. So Troy and Adrian own some of the cigar lounges in downtown Jacksonville. Malcolm is a very successful real estate guy here, realtor here.
I know who you're talking about.
And so I would talk to them about their successes. And of course, they're in like exclusive society. You can only have like memberships and all these clubs and stuff. And so there was like, Jacksonville elite males. And you think about males in terms of prestige, success, winning, having arrived in all these places. Troy having traveled with some of the, hip hop icons of the 80s and 90s. And I would ask them often about success. Do you appreciate it? Do you enjoy it? And it was over and over repeated. No, there was no time to. Because there was the continual chasing of success, right? Chasing of whatever that nets you, especially as a man. It is, and the stereotype is that men want more women and more drinking, and depending on your age, because they weren't that age. But I think about that often because they appreciated my presence for that reason. I showed them that they weren't enjoying it, not because I'm telling them, don't appreciate it, this is not good. But I would tell them, y'all, let's just go hang out. Let's go on a trip. Let's go to happy hour. Very simple things. And it would really be the highlight to be able to sit down and just appreciate, just embrace it. When they were sitting in the lounges and it'd be full, I would ask them, look at that. You see that? Look at all these people enjoying. And they had never taken the time. And which is kind of, you think humility. I won't pat myself on the back. But we need to, because why else are we doing it? And not to say you're doing it just for the pats on the back and just for the praise. But if we can't appreciate our work, then we're just running in. So you walking 7 miles. With me, you still grieving. You understand what I'm saying? So, you can absolutely grieve success. Absolutely. Success is one of the number one things that you can grieve, because success, chasing of that, is also not the caring for your soul. You understand? You can hardly do both in a healthy way, but you learn to, because again, that's American culture. We learn to win.
Yeah, we learn to win. Let's see. God, I'm listening and learning. We trust what we think we know. We trust ourselves more than God. We like comfort, not correction. Ooh,
Do.
Ooh, hold up. What did I say? Me grieve different things at different times for different reasons, but I'm learning from the grief and moving on. I have to ask for help and keep it moving. That's good, Sophia.
That is good.
Yeah, you do have to. I had to learn about asking for help. I didn't learn to ask for help until I had to go off to pharmacy school. And then I realized I needed some help. I used to pride myself on being able to take care of me. I ain't got to ask nobody for nothing. I pride myself on that. You know, I ain't got to ask nobody for nothing. They come to me. You going to need me before I need you. And I sure needed them, honey, when I was in pharmacy school. You understand what I'm saying? Send me some money, okay? Send me $10. Give me some ramen noodles, okay? But it taught me to ask for help. And as I began to acquire more resources, I find myself not asking for the help I used to, and then I have to stop. Now, there are moments where I don't need that help, but then there are some where I do. And I'm like, why are you, just because you can pay somebody to do it, doesn't mean somebody won't be just happy to do it because they love you. And so I started doing that. Hey, would you mind? Hey, and I have a friend of mine that'll come, get off work, help, go home, get sleep, go back to work. You know, I'm so grateful for men. I am so grateful for men. You know, I used to be bitter with men after my divorce and, you know, mad at my brothers and my dad, that grief. But man, I am so grateful for a man. Listen, it's just certain things I don't want to do. I don't want to get out there and chase no lizard off this porch over here. So my friend come over here and chase them lizards off there for me. Okay, I don't want to live certain things, so certain things come to my house and sit right here in the middle of the floor. And so one of my friends is able to come, and they come and do what they need to do, and they do it with no problem. I don't even like opening doors, and I don't. Like, I walk up to a door, a man see me coming, I get so happy when he run into the door to catch the door before I can get there.
That's joy.
Yeah, I get so excited about those things. So I mean, it's just, this is just me, 38 me. I'm great. I love men, not like love them, like, you know, but I love them. I love their presence, what they masculinity, what they represent, them helping us. It's just certain things I don't want to do anymore.
Right.
The younger me was, I am woman. Honey, I am damsel.
Honey.
Hear my distress. Open the door. Honey, it's too heavy. Oh my God, baby, rip this off. My nail gonna break. And they don't mind doing it. Say thank you and keep it moving. That's all I got to say. So yes, I did. But I just want to throw that out there. It was my little story time.
That was your story time. So I have a question for you, Pastor Koich. Do you or have you seen that people grieve differently based on their race?
Yes, I have.
How do white people grieve?
I spend a little bit of time around them, not the most. Now, I can't tell you how.
If you're on here and you're white, how you grieve?
Yeah.
Because I have been to a Caucasian service, and they are very quiet. But I have been to a whole heap of us,
and we loud, baby,
and they are very, very animated.
Dramatic, very animated.
Very animated, and I thought it to be, and again, it's only been one, so it doesn't mean that they're all that way.
Yeah.
But I thought it was odd because it wasn't like someone's grandmother.
Right.
It was like, you know, it was an accident. They were younger, so it was very quiet.
I think that's a denominational question as well. So even among denominations where Black people are in, like a Episcopal or Presbyterian or something like that, it's still quite different, especially what a service looks like for somebody. Now at the house, they may be different at the house, but I've been to, even in seminary, is when I was introduced to the fact that people don't talk in church. You know, it's like, talking is what we know. We know that I got it, that you're doing good because we're talking. But I've seen people in services, many, and this is a Methodist school and Methodist church, and I had no clue that meant don't talk, right? And so I even was at a AME conference, and they had the, you know, conferences, you have the service at night, and I was in there speaking in tongues. I was like, these people gonna kick me out of here, but it was good to me. Nobody else was saying anything. So I look at what you're saying, and I think it's racial as well as the formality of funerals for some religious groups is different. So I have family who are Muslim, and they don't take all day. I told them, I said, you know, some black people, depending on where your cousins are at and the funds that people have, you could take about 3 weeks to get people in the ground. You know, you could, while you get everybody together, and you know,
everybody get their money together, get their flights,
people
travel, how they gonna come in and stuff like that, where they gonna stay, get the food together.
Oh, it's a lot. And they said, what? They were blown away. I just told them this a little while ago around Monique's funeral, and they said we have to get the body in the ground in 3 days. In 3 days, because they don't do all of the embalming and all of this type of stuff. They got to wrap them and everything. And so when I think about that, it's also very sacred how they believe about death and then grief, because then you won't have periods of mourning like what other groups might have. You know, there's not much time given to go real deep into it, because some spaces believe this is a transition. That's only a thing. And Christians say it. However,
we undignified, honey.
You know what I'm saying? All the rest of the stuff I do. We say that's not him, but why you over there on the casket screaming? He gone. He got up. Well, why you acting like this? You gotta give it all you got.
Yes.
At the funeral, you have to give it all you got.
Y'all done got on my nerves.
The performance have to be unmatched.
For what reason?
It's who we are.
I cannot breathe. It's
who we are. We are colorful people.
We are.
And we are animated people. You got to give it your best shot.
So yes, people grieve differently. I'm gonna say this too, knowing that at funerals there's people who hadn't even talked to the person for 10 years.
Oh, girl.
Crying and doing all types of things, tomfoolery, and
who is Tom? Who Tom?
A lot of stuff happening, and I'm only saying that because we have to look at what the relationship was. And at the funeral, are we honoring again the selfishness let me put on, or are we saying I didn't even really talk to her, I'm here because we had relationship? But you see what I'm saying? Do we kind of dignify the dead, or are we doing this for ourselves?
That's good.
That's the question. So do races grieve differently? I think grief is the same. I just think the whole rest of the stuff that we doing, putting on and stuff,
people be quiet, people don't be quiet. Listen,
that's different.
Give it all you got at these funerals. Entertain me.
Don't do it.
Entertain me.
I know you
okay, I love it. I get sitting there.
I'm not coming.
And I'm
not coming to your funeral.
Wait. So I would like to share about Pastor Coach, if I may. Can I?
Yes,
Can I please? Okay.
They
So
say
the week of everything happening with her sister, Pastor Coach D was on it. Okay, she had a few moments where she needed to vent and say whatever she needed to say, but for the most part she was on it. She was moving, she was shaking, she was baking, she was getting it. Okay, check on her. Hey, how you doing? You all right? I'm good. Let's go eat. Let's you know,
we ate
all of these things. And so the day of, right, you know, they're processing in, and I hear someone and I hear someone.
She got to tell my business.
I asked you first.
When you
said it was okay. No, I hear it's quiet. The doors swing open and it's quiet, and then all of a sudden you hear this. And I went to go see who it was because I wanted to know if they had the right to.
Oh, well, I had the right.
You had. I didn't know. I didn't know. I didn't know it was you. Okay. Because I would have been looking. So if it wasn't me, I was like, so I wanted to see if they had the right to be making all that noise, because the rest of the family, even the children, were just kind of leading up to. And so I saw it was her, and I was like, melted. I mean, my knees buckled, almost hit the floor. You understand? Because she had been so strong. Yeah, she had been seemingly so strong, and she is strong. She's sitting up here, and we're laughing about it now, but she's very strong. But in that moment, I'm like, she had spent the entire week just making sure everybody else was good.
Let me tell y'all.
In that moment, I was like, oh my God, my friend, somebody get us. Somebody get you. They said,
my mama was like, so of course you laugh and you joke after everything is done. You did the same thing at granddaddy funeral. Business like this. And connected the dots, nor was I putting on any facade.
No.
I really wasn't studying about who else, whatever. I was studying about those kids that week of that funeral. And when I needed to take care of myself, I called Chantel, hey, let's eat. So that was like all the days leading to the funeral. We ate every day. But it was in that moment that those doors opened and it just grabbed hold to me. You hear me? And I about couldn't make it. And my mother, she was with my daddy. She left him. Come on. Give him a child. Come on. And so she said, you can do it. I can do it. I can just hear myself say, I can do it. But I tell y'all, when grief grabs you, it grabs you, and you have no choice. You have no choice. Yes. That's why I'm grateful. Let me tell you, the week leading to my sister's transition, the Lord was preparing me. And I know he was preparing me because my joy was just through the roof. The conversations God and I were having, because he knew I needed that to get me through those doors. If I had a choice, I would not have attended. If I had a choice. So for what we do for other people and stuff, you show up.
Show up.
Now, if you're going to see me in my pain, see me in my pain. And as soon as I was ready to go, I've been ready to go. So I'm saying this because that goes back to the question of how we grieve and making sure you have people with you who will let you grieve, but also people who can understand, I'm not going to grieve the same way as somebody else. Nor should you feel some type of way that I'm not crying with you. I'm not crying anyway. So, but when I did. That's what I got to hit. It hit me.
When they hit you, honey, you just surrender. It be ugly.
I was surprised I could walk, honey.
Yes.
Yeah. With them heels
it
on.
Be ugly. You just got to keep going.
Woo!
And so
I'm telling you.
From you gave it all you
when
had.
When I tell y'all about soul care, from my soul that thing came out. I wailed.
Literally that's what she did.
I wailed.
Literally.
That's what that was.
Literally.
And that wailing bring out a different emotion in the room.
Yes, it does.
That's exactly what happened.
It brings out a different emotion. It's a difference when people cry versus when they wail.
But that also shows about the sanctity of death, y'all. We putting on all these performances and everything. I'm not saying that I wailed intentionally, but we need to cry from the deep places to kind of get out any grief, because it's not just about death. When the job is uncomfortable, those people getting on your nerves. I've had people trying to get me fired. We talked about this aggression. We don't hide that up in the name of Jesus.
She's just doing that shit.
But I'm telling y'all, if you just cry and let that thing out, because that's why I love prayer and worship, because that is where you get to bare your soul.
Yes.
You get to bare your soul when you're prayer and worship.
Prayer and worship. Not one or the other.
Oh,
in conjunction.
You got to.
It's so good.
Really.
Oh my God, it's so good.
I be stuck.
Listen, y'all, we are coming up on time. I got one last question for you before we close out. And I guess this is the question I think all y'all want to know. Do women and men grieve differently?
That's a very good question.
Which one is the most emotional?
The boys.
The boys. I've been telling y'all. It's the men.
Women kinda. We just go because we still have things to do. Men, let me tell you something. One thing I learned, because I have male friends, tend to be my best friends, right? And I've talked to them about, some real hard things. And what I have learned from men is that their one broken heart when they were in middle school has caused them to be the men that we end up being with the rest of our life.
And you 48.
And you 70. I understand. How you still rolling? How you even still a rolling stone? Rolling how? You understand? Touch me, tease me. No, you 70. But here is what I realized about men. Men's grief is something that they cannot bear in the same way that women do. Women bear grief and become bitter. We become prideful. I don't need a man. We are raised to be independent on purpose because we're not expected to expect the man to, you're expected to marry him, but you're not necessarily raised to expect the man to take care of it all. So you're expected and raised. And then they say, well, why are you single? You did not raise me to get married. You raised me to do it.
To be independent.
And
yeah.
then-
And that's the truth.
Exactly. So the grief ends up being that men are the more emotional, but the way that they do the emotion is aggression, it is pride, it's arrogance, it's ego. It is, I cannot be sensitive, I cannot care about how you are impacted by me. I've got to put on all this external coverings. Men very insecure, like women insecure, and we see and we know it. Men insecure, they covered up ego, suits, cars,
Muscles.
working
out,
all this type of stuff, and still inadequate. Like, sir, what are you doing? What are you doing? And so, women, I'm not dogging men out. I just think the more healed we can be, the more healthy we can be, then the more that we can put all that other stuff down. If you're gonna work out because you want to, not because you're covering up any perceived inadequacy, guilt, shame, loss of identity, so on and
The
so
fact
forth.
that your third grade girlfriend dumped you
There
because you
you
was a chubby boy and
go.
now you just want to stay fit. Yeah.
There you go. And so women tend to be grieving forward. Men continue to live, but they're stuck in the grief from a long time ago, even absent fathers, right? Your daddy wasn't there, so on and so forth.
I ain't got no daddy.
I ain't got no daddy.
Bump that, eat that, nigga. All of that. Y'all hold on to it.
So I think we grieve the same. It's just the protections that we put up or are different.
Yes.
good.
We have been try to have a relationship. I don't want a relationship. Just it be men. It's men. It's men. And how do last question, we help each other come out of grief? Just as
Y'all.
men or women, how do we help?
Let
help
me tell
pull
y'all,
somebody
and
out
this is,
of
I'm
it?
going to commission these two to do this, right? Including myself in various forms. But everybody listening to this, I want y'all to do me one favor before the end of the year. Gather people in your living rooms and have conversations, okay? The way that we can process grief is together, right? The one thing I did not want to be while I was grieving my sister is with people. The one thing I was with people, right? And no, the people weren't on my nerves. It's what I needed, not even knowing that I needed it. I craved being by myself, but in order to really process, acknowledge, be accountable to our part in the grief, it has to, involve conversation, right? Having your community with you, sometimes being the people that are the ones who hurt you. But if I'm grieving with Sharice, it doesn't just need to be me and Sharice, nor does it need to just be me, Sharice, and a mediator. Put a whole community of people and have rules for this conversation, right? Ain't gonna be no cussing. Okay? You can't throw nothing in here, okay? We come here with the intention of hearing and healing, okay? And then once we leave here, no need to be gossiping about what we talked about in here. And so let us not live under the impression that there are no safe spaces. Like, take that out of it. But if we move with respect, we can have good, healthy conversations. So everybody who's listening, grab about 5 to 10 people. Okay? Nothing more than that, because we want it to be sacred and safe. In terms of the more people you get, the more stuff you're addressing. But if you bring 10 people and talk about absent fathers, you could go for days. You bring 10 people, talk about lost jobs, you could go for days. You bring 10 people and talk about how you couldn't find your keys and you got mad because it was the icing on the cake, you go for days. So the way that we process grief in healthy ways, y'all, is talk about it. Men, grab men. Talk about it, because I could listen to women who are married to men all day. I can even talk to married men all day, but there are only certain things that men can talk to with men and women can talk to with women.
Absolutely.
So we need to be talking, and that's the way, y'all, we hear and heal. Some people are grieving because they haven't been able to say their stuff. Give people space.
And there you have it.
And there you have it.
That's all I got.
Oh, I'm good.
No, you're not good. It's the closing.
Oh, we're done. I don't know what happened over there, but
Good.
Thank you all so very much. We have come to the end of the segment, and we want to thank Coach Pastor D.
Thank y'all for having me.
For answering the call, right? For agreeing to come back a second time in person. We thank you all for tuning in, for supporting. We thank you all for giving. As you can see, the QR code has been put up for Besties Tell All. We are a thriving podcast, and we need support, right? We can do it, yes, the two of us, but we don't need just your monetary donations. If you can assist with a sound and lighting and camera or audio, reach out to us. Yeah, IT, because we definitely need the assistance, but we don't have, well, if we don't ask, we don't have. So this is us asking, okay? Thank you all so very much for supporting us. You can catch us at Sundown Sundays. You can catch us at the Expo. You can catch us at Toya's Girls Jam with Pastor Coach D on the 30th. Sundown Sundays on the 10th. The Expo's on the 23rd. Toya's Girls Jam is on the 30th. Catch us outside. Hang out with us. We love to see you. Make sure when you do come to any one of those events that you check us out on the red carpet. We thank you for tuning in each and every Sunday at 1 p.m. And when we don't go live, we hear about it. The one time we didn't go live, right? So I was like, what are y'all doing? So thank you so very much. We cannot do what we do. We cannot be successful without you all tuning in each and every Sunday. And even when we have additional things happening, you guys tune in to both, or, you know, whatever we have going on. So thank you. Until next time, right? You can catch us next Sunday at 1 p.m. and then at Sundown Sundays, okay, at 5 p.m. So, without further ado, we'll ask the question, or we'll pose the question. Do you know what the question is, Coach?
What's the question?
Okay.
We coached you on this last time. We coached you on this last
We'll count to 3, and the question is, do you really want a best friend? So you'll point at the camera, and you'll say, do you really want a best friend? You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we would like to pose the question. 1, 2, 3.
Do you really want a best friend?
Bye.
Let me tell you about my best friend. Stick my knee through thick and thin. No matter what I'm going through, she's always there, 'cause that's what best friends do. Let me tell you about my best friend. I just might cry when it's falling down. She intercedes for me, always loving me. There is no one better than my best friend.